Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Welcome back to week 2 of the Afterbuzz TV After Show for Riverdale, my favorite new show on all of television. This episode was titled A Touch of Evil. This is so exciting. I can't wait to break the whole thing down for you guys. Hang out with us. We'll see you in just 1 second.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, Afterbuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
So, is this song, is it all like lyrics from the original song, or is this all written for this version?
I think some of it.
I think the chorus
is definitely from the original song, and then they made their own lyrics.
You got it. Okay.
I love it.
It's great.
I'm like, I want to be a Josie and the Pussycat.
Oh man.
Honey, honey.
This show. You keep going, guys.
You are my candy girl.
Oh wow.
And you got me wanting you.
This is good. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. And if you're just listening, that's us singing. That's really us on the panel here.
Josie and the Pussycats, time, just us. Though.
Just us.
Members
Just us
4 and
too.
5. You guys are the.
Well,
you
your
round out
voice, so.
Yeah, right. That's true. We can't be
Sorry.
pussycats.
So,
Welcome
you
to
can
the
be
show.
our groupies.
Yeah, you can sing as much as you want. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the AfterBuzz TV After Show for Riverdale. This is episode 2 of season 1, titled "A Touch of Evil." A little throwback to a classic movie there. This show is so good. I'm so excited to be here. And Frank is even more excited.
Yes,
than me.
I can't
Look at his excitement.
get enough of the show. Sure.
I think Frank is our resident evil.
Wow. There you go. Crossing franchises
He's
right
our
here.
Resident Evil.
I'm just saying, tell us how you feel, because Frank was not here the first week,
I was not here. Yes,
right?
I was under the weather. So yes. What I always liked about the Archie Comics and the whole line is that certainly after I don't know, about 2010 or so, they started doing a lot of different things with the property. So whether you do Afterlife with Archie, you do Archie marries Veronica, Archie marries Betty, you had introduction of Kevin Keller. So the franchise is very malleable. You can do a lot of different things with it, and they've proven that. So it's kind of curious to see what they're doing it now with the TV adaptation. And it's definitely a lot of different elements that you wouldn't normally associate with the Archie property.
And what he means by that is he's overjoyed with excitement for the show.
Well, I'm cautiously. I'm intrigued to keep watching. I'm still.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Fair enough. Well, without further ado, guys, we are going to introduce the panel. Thank you for tuning in on this lovely Thursday?
Thursday.
It's a Thursday night.
It is.
I'm your host, Ben Bateman. You can find me at Ben Bateman Media on Twitter and Instagram. I have a wonderful panel. I'm going to start right here with the most excited member of it.
Oh, that's right. There you go. I've never been sat this close to Ben Bateman ever in my life. It's very exciting for me. I'm Frank Brand. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
Hey guys, I'm Chae Jones. You can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram. And this lovely lady is next.
Oh, hello. I'm Sam Davidson. You can find me at SamD43 on Twitter and Instagram. And Joelle will be back next week, I think.
I'm just filling in.
No, this lovely girl is filling in. She loves this show so much. So I have a feeling she will be here a lot whenever any of us are feeling under the weather. So get used to this one.
Hi.
Excellent. And guys, if you are listening and you love what we're doing, you want to share your thoughts, obviously tweet at us, but please give us a rating or a review on iTunes. This is a brand new after show. If you go and give us a review, give us 5 stars, let us know your thoughts, what you like, what you don't like, helps us stay high in the standings, and that's really what we want to do. We want the bigger presence we have, the more access we'll have to booking guests and all those things, getting exclusive interviews. We actually have some exclusive interviews coming up in the near future, which is really exciting, so help us out with that, and let's get into the episode. Cheryl's guilty? What? She's guilty of something.
I was like guilty of. I'm still trying to figure out the guilty of what. Besides her just saying 2 words, I'm guilty. But I need to understand what you're guilty of.
She's trying to hide her brother's secrets.
Well, certainly.
I believe that too.
There's that talk she has with Veronica in the locker room where
Right.
she just kind of says he was supposed to come back. So I feel like there definitely was some sort of plan. I feel like you see it in the pilot episode. The way they approached the river and they're getting in the boat, there was some sort of plan they had in motion. I don't know exactly what it was, and we'll find out over the course of the season. But it didn't involve. I feel it involved Jason being gone for a while, maybe coming back, getting some notoriety, but not dying. So
Right, well, because she says the line to Veronica when she's crying in the locker room, right? Mm-hmm. Veronica so nobly goes to try to talk to her, and she's like, he was supposed to come back.
And Veronica mouths it it rings in her head.
Yeah. So that's a big reveal, and then Cheryl's like, I'm guilty. So definitely something's going on. One of the things I thought was so funny and I loved is the scene where Jason is on the table and they're doing the biopsy, Autopsy, sorry, not biopsy. And they're like going over all the detective stuff that we've all seen in 100 million detective shows. And one of my favorite shows of all time is True Detective Season 1. And it, in fact, I think is my single favorite season of TV ever. And like Russ Cole, McConaughey's character, is like so dark when he's going over all, ligature marks on the wrists. Like he's like reading over everything, and it's like so creepy. And then you have like the CW Riverdale version, and the guy's like, ligature marks on the wrist, and you're like, oh, it's not creepy at all. It's just
No,
this
crypto Nile something with his feet. I cannot say the word. It's crypto frozen feet. I'm gonna just assume that's my.
You're like, it's a
hobby.
dead body. Okay, moving on.
Well, everyone keeps on comparing this to Pretty Little Liars and all of that, and what's fun about those shows is that you never know if the character is really dead. In this show, we know the character is like dead
as possible.
Right. I mean, okay, so let's start right there just for a second. If Cheryl is guilty of something, he's supposed to come back. They keep showing the creepy shot of them walking up to the water like something's gonna happen. There's a weird incest vibe they keep throwing at us with the two of them.
So much
incest vibe.
Them sharing the milkshake. I mean, they just keep throwing it every chance they get. And then he comes back. She's upset. He's been shot. He's been dead for so he's only been dead for a couple days. He was killed over a week after, right?
Yes.
Or no, I guess it's not a couple
So
days.
it's like he was tortured before he was killed.
Or something, right? He was killed a week after he disappeared. So he was gone for a week, and he was tied up in some way. This is like what we can assume from the information we have so far, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So what are the theories here, guys? What is Cheryl guilty of? What do we think?
I feel like she's guilty of knowing who he might have met. Like they could, like he said, planned to go out to the boat to do this to him to drown, so he could need to do whatever he had to in secret. But when he never came back, she had to kind of stick with the story because it's her brother, it's her twin.
Right.
Family's important.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sure actually a bunch of you guys have watched Dead of Summer, which is a freeform show. It was in the summer. It's by the creators of Lost, and it's this very weird, like, crazy teenage show. But it reminded me, like, what were they going to do in that body of water? Because in that show, it was like some supernatural thing. So in a way, I am kind of thinking, like, what were they planning to do? It seems like a goodbye. They were wearing white. They were wearing white.
Yeah.
You know, it was some weird ceremony thing.
Yeah, I
I
can
go
agree
with
with you
that.
there. I think, the white, I picked up on that. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, and you keep getting the other flashes, too, of just Cheryl on the rocks and stuff, too, just sitting there afterwards, all soaked and stuff. So it definitely has some sort of ceremonial, ritualistic kind of feel to it, the way they were getting in the water in the boat last episode. So,
And we haven't seen their parents, right?
No, they're there.
Yeah, they've been there when the body was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Penelope
At the end of the
Blossom, I
last
think.
episode,
And they were
yeah.
they're at the stadium
Right.
when she ran off.
Those two are for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, including Betty's parents as well.
Well, yeah, Betty's
But
parents are
Betty parents are, the mom's very controlling. Like I feel like it's like she's the dominant one, and he's like just in the background whenever she needs him. He comes in.
I'm thinking some kind of weird swinger situation. I don't
Ooh.
even know.
Yep.
Sorry, but
Is the guy that plays Betty's dad, correct me if I'm wrong here, that's
hot chicks.
and it's also
Yes.
from Office Space, right? Brian's got 49 pieces of flair on. Isn't that him?
No, that
Shrimp fajitas, shrimp pizza shooters, or
because that was. Oh yeah, it was. Yes,
is, right?
Yeah, the guy. Yep.
it's from Dead Men on Campus.
Yeah,
that guy.
that was or Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
plays,
yeah.
Yep.
And sorry, white chicks.
All-
not
I'm
hot
all I got
chicks.
is white chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, white chicks.
I can't think of what that guy's name is.
He
I
was
love
the
that guy.
fellow
Yep.
FBI agent. White Chicks is one of my favorite movies,
Always,
as well as
always
Hot Chicks.
wanted to go with the grossest person he could, or smelling her panties, even
Yeah.
though the panties were Marlins.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that we're all
funny.
He's
experts
like
in this
a
guy's career.
Yeah, this is
comedy
great. None of us are
and
telling
we
his
can't
name.
even remember his name.
He's one of those.
No.
I think it's Brian something maybe, or maybe that's just his character in the movies. Anyway, so that's the parents. So now I was gonna say about Cheryl. So normally in these situations, when you have the the faked either death or kidnapping, his wrists are tied. Like this is normally an extortion plan. Normally, like you have your kid, or this is the Man on Fire plan. You have your kid fake kidnapped, and then you extort money, maybe from your parents because Cheryl wants money for some reason. But I haven't picked up on any of that because it seemed like there's keeps being the shots of her crying. So I didn't feel like that was where we were going. I mean, did you guys pick up on that sort of as a classic trope?
No, because I feel like I don't think they're trying to like con anybody out of money. I feel like whoever found Jason definitely had a grudge to work out against him for something. And certainly, it paints like Betty's parents, the Coopers, seem like the most likely subjects given their relationship, whatever happened with Polly and Jason.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is an easy red herring. Certainly, the Blossoms seem to rule by intimidation and fear, whether it be in high school or maybe in the community. So I'm sure they've made many enemies that we'll find out over the course of these episodes.
If any of you guys have any theories in the chat, share them so we can hear.
And actually, what is it? Castaneda said Betty's dad was a knight in the Roxbury in Scary Movie. That's very true.
That is also
Scary
true.
Movie.
He's the cop in Night of the Roxbury. He's their buddy. That's what I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. He's great.
She said,
And
somebody
also,
said,
oh, go ahead.
said
Still on this guy.
Daily Life.
Cheryl's not guilty of the murder. It's probably something else.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
I'm totally believe
Incest.
that.
I don't know. Well,
The,
I mean,
the incest vibe is just so strong. You just like you want to touch it because you're just like y'all just saw you giving us incest.
Right.
It's all the feels I'm feeling.
they just keep throwing the incest vibe, and she's guilty of just being a bee.
That is true.
creepy.
Yeah. So lastly, with Cheryl, we have her. She like books the Pussycats for this sweet performance that we open the show on. And once again, I swear to God, I feel like Josie is the character that is going to come out of this show with the biggest career, because she's getting. Not only is she great, like her first scene with Archie in the first episode, she like just stole the episode. Like that, she seriously stole the episode. And then she gets like the music and she gets to dance and she's sassy. Like I just am like that she's gonna have the music career and she's gonna be a huge star. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like someone woke up and they prayed the night before and they're like, hey, can I please be an amazing actor in a cool new show and sing at the same time? And it's like a Bring It On routine. And I mean, what girl wouldn't love a Bring It On routine in their scene on television?
Yeah, I memorized Bring It On choreography or any dance movie choreography just because I have to, and it's like in my being. I legit want to be on Bring It On just so that it's like my favorite thing. It's my favorite, it's my goal in life is a bucket list thing.
So we had a really actually interesting theory on the chat from Wolf and Thief. Jason and Cheryl were trying to protect him, so they faked his death when a week later he actually died.
But protect him from what?
I don't know.
Things we'll find out.
Yeah,
Right?
some nefarious plot that's going on. On the subject of Ashley Murray Josie, before we move on, I'm going to be doing an interview for AfterBuzz here tomorrow. It's a phone interview, and I will have limited questions. But if anybody who's listening or watching wants her to be asked something that we can share on the panel for you, please tweet at me, or if throw it in the comments right now if you have something and we'll read it out, and I can try to take some of those in and share them next week, which would be super fun. So at Ben Bateman Media if you want to tweet me. Let's move on to the next plot point. We've got Archie and Jughead. They kind of reconciled their friendship a little bit this episode, and I gotta say I really loved it.
Yeah,
I
really
do too.
Yeah.
I love I love bromances just in a general as a rule,
Yeah.
but like I actually love theirs.
So the Fred, Archie, Jughead, like little trifecta of information this episode. I don't know if you guys watched, but I was like just grinning like an idiot. I don't even know why. So I mentioned last week the OC is like one of my all-time favorite shows, and there's a lot of elements in the show that are just reminding me of it. And I'm kind of feeling it. There's the featured music in every episode. The OC used to do that with actual performances of artists not in the show. There's the fact that those four characters are sitting at the table there at the end. I just got this like the four of them vibe.
That is a really great point. But with that being said, Jughead at the end said that it was just 3.
Yeah.
He was invisible.
Agreed, but there's just something about it that I picked up on. But the Archie and Jughead relationship reminded me of the Seth Ryan relationship a little bit. There was just something about they're very different. One's the jock, one's the nerd. I don't know. I love it. I just love it.
But we can say Jughead's a lot more deeper in thought than nerdy Seth Cohen, just a tad.
I think Seth Cohen was pretty deep in thought. Yeah, but
For Spider-Man and Wonder Woman and
Yeah. I mean, not like a nerd in like any, I'm a gigantic nerd, but like just in the contrast that they're giving the two characters in the show, I think that's very clear. They're setting them up to be those.
Frank, are you an OC fan?
Well, first season,
Yeah,
and then
that's the thing.
gradually, then it started kind of declining.
Half of season 2 is good. The comic book storyline with him and Zach was good, and then it just gets worse and worse. But the first season's all anyone cares about. I mean, that's the good season of that show.
And Peter Gallagher's eyebrows were
I actually liked
magnificent.
season 4.
Yes.
I liked Ryan and Taylor.
Screw season 4.
I'm so
You
sorry about all
crazy?
the Marissa and Ryan fans, but I actually liked Taylor and Ryan as a couple.
I would go with that. Over
Blasphemy.
Melissa. Yes.
Let's stay on Riverdale. The new OC.
But
Sorry, a little bit.
that is one thing I missed out of the pilot episode was that relationship between Archie and Jughead, because you come in after they've kind of distanced themselves, and so
Right.
it was nice to have that back. Because I was writing that down in the course of this episode. It's like any of their interactions, I just did not enjoy them being kind of distant from each other. I liked having them back together.
I do have an opinion about Archie at this point,
Okay.
which is not super positive. I love the girls on the show, I really do. But for me, Archie, I mean, he is a kid, and I keep on comparing it to the Vampire Diaries, which I know a lot of you guys watch, and these people don't, but a lot of you guys watch it. And with Stefan was very mature, and he was the protagonist in the first season. And with me, Archie's just like a dumb boy. You know, he's just so stupid.
And handsome.
So sexy. Please, more shirtless scenes.
He's a
We appreciate it.
child. He's a child.
Not sure what he wants. Football,
They
music.
should just find
work
a
for my-
scene. They should just
I mean,
find
but
a
it
scene.
is high school. You have to be like in high school, like you're pulled to so many different interests. Like when I was in high school, I was in forensic science. I did beta, I did speech, I did cheerleading, I did volleyball. Like I liked doing a lot of things because they were part of who I was.
If they're going for like a flashback eerie vibe, they could just find a scene in every episode to just show that same scene of him running at night with his shirt off. They could just show that same clip in various episodes. Like, oh, it's a flashback to a traumatic moment. But it's just him. It's just keep the same clip of him running at night with his shirt off. No. So Archie and Jughead talking. You have Jughead sees what goes on with the Grundy conversation that happens with Archie, and that's pretty devious stuff because Grundy is straight up playing Archie. I mean,
She is like you have to admit like the whole. I'm gonna take your hand. I'm gonna put it close to my chest. Like you're gonna fall for that. I'm sorry. Not all guys, but most guys are that easy, especially in high school boys.
well, and also she's a beautiful woman.
That is true.
She's an attractive woman. I mean, and she's playing that card hard. She's working his heart, really, really hard.
Well, I also think, though, that she's working his youngness and stupidity,
Yeah.
and that sucks. You know, she's saying, this could be bad for both of us. And, like, really,
When is that
actually,
for you?
he would be underage, so it wouldn't be his fault at all, and it would all be on you.
Well, I mean, just for the record, people in the comments last week on Twitter were like, you guys aren't pointing out that it's statutory rape. We're aware of the fact that this is fully illegal. This is a TV show. We're commenting on the relationship. It's totally illegal and gross and, like, not something that we would ever
Well,
condone in real life.
It depends on the
Just-
state laws for that.
Well, okay,
16?
Even-
let's just
Oh,
say...
is he 15?
I think he's 16, maybe.
Let's just say he's 16, because if he's 15, all this stuff is... I'm like, this is a child.
Right. Well, I think 16 is still a child, but...
I know, but for me, 16, I'm like, that's when you start growing up.
Okay, let's not excuse it if he's 16. So here's the
We're
question.
not excusing it, guys. We're not.
Let's
You
all
get to
take
drive.
Let's all take bets because this is the question I had immediately when the show opened. Okay, Jughead is writing a book. He's writing
Right.
like he's blogging and he's writing the story. When does the book come out? At what point in the story of Riverdale? What season? When is this book published? Is it what happens at the end of season 1? Is that how you kick off season 2?
I would imagine because I imagine they were going to try to do by season kind of arc. So I would figure that if this book were to be published or a blog was to be released or whatever, it would be between season 1 or 2. That's what I think.
Like the book drops and like you see the cover and that's like how you close out season 1 with like a great montage of wonderful music and Archie running with his shirt off at night. And like
Well, there were a lot of comments and tweets to us last week comparing this to Gossip Girl, and I don't. Have you guys watched Gossip
Love
Girl
Gossip
at all?
Love Gossip Girl.
Yes. Okay.
same people as the OC. I mean, it just feels like the same show.
It is the same people as the OC, and it's kind of this like story that the narrator tells, and you don't know who it is till the end. But I do think that Jughead is kind of the Dan Humphrey, who I don't really think was a great Gossip Girl ending. But I will say that he is the like undercover emo guy
Right.
that's writing a story.
There's a lot of talk online about the fact that his character, the asexuality of Jughead, and like there's a lot of contrast. He admitted in an interview that there would be some romance with Jughead, but I know that in the comics he's like asexual. I think.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, he is.
Which I enjoy that about the character. So, and I think that's a fun character to do on a TV show as well. I don't feel like you have to have the need to have romantic subplots for a character. You could just embrace his asexuality. But
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Agreed. But so apparently that is where the show is going to go. So I'm curious, where it will go and who Jughead will end up with. We have some interesting comments in the chat.
Juria Pinarnada. I'm so sorry if I just messed up your name. It says, or Grundy could also be the killer. I mean, Archie and Jason kind of look alike, and they could be Grundy's type.
You think that Grundy
But
killed
Grundy
him?
can't be. I mean, unless that shot was just really fake. So that
I don't think that Grundy killed him, but I do think that Archie and Jason look a lot alike, and someone could have been trying to kill Archie instead of Jason.
that's like, especially when Cheryl ran off and he was
Right.
she kind of flashed into it being her brother. Like that kind of was set her off to run and cry and do all this.
They keep on teasing us with this. They show pictures of Jason and Archie. It's like a weird thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. So aside from that stuff, Archie apologizes to Jughead after kind of like saving him from Reggie, because Reggie just sucks. That guy's just a douchebag. And like, I know that later on we're gonna get like, they're gonna try to level us out with him and show that he has heart. Maybe it's not even like this season. That's always how it works with shows like this. Eventually he'll have a little arc where he has a romance with someone. You see the real side of him. It'll be like, you know, I don't know, his like dad beats him or something. There'll be some element I feel like that we're gonna see that's gonna humanize Reggie. But for right now, he is just the broiest of bro characters. And he's just going after Jughead. And Archie's like, I don't care, but I'll still defend him. Nothing.
Well, 'cause the last episode, I was like, oh, that's Reggie, but I really didn't see much of him until this episode. Then you really get to see like the douchiness of Reggie
Yeah.
Mantle really come on. You're like, oof, yeah, okay, that's straight from the comics. I can see that.
They really made him a lot more like douchey here. Because in the comic, he's like arrogant, but he's like super handsome and like talented and smart. He's just like really self-involved. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they make him seem real dumb in this so far.
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go.
I was gonna say, I think it's funny how he first kind of insinuated his like friend Moose. Now that he was like with Kevin at the like, you're friends with the son now, so you know that gives you a pass. And then he's just like, oh, now I'm gonna move over to the emo Wednesday Addams weird kid because like I can.
Right.
But he's really quick to flip because, like, last episode he was so hot on Archie, like, hooking up with either Betty or Veronica, being in the closet with Veronica. And then all of a sudden now it's like, what, you defended Jughead? Oh, man, you're the worst. I'm going to get in a fight with you.
Right. Well, he is like a bully in high school. I mean, he's, you know.
Yeah, well, it's the person that's trying to kind of shade themselves, like put a cover over themselves.
Right.
So they keep on picking on the people that are good to pick on.
Right. He's like Luke from the OC. All right, let's get off the OC. So anyway, yeah. So Archie like defends Jughead. There's that great scene though when Jughead finds out, you know, at Archie's doorstep, and Fred's like, "Jug, you coming in? We ordered to go from Pops." And that's the moment where you're like, that's some context, you know, because it's like, even though they're not really friends anymore, Fred is still like, of course we're cool, you know, we grew up, like, you were my kid's best friend, like, I would invite you in for dinner any day, even if you guys are fighting. I don't believe in that stuff. You guys are high school kids.
Well, because I feel like
part
your
of the
parents
family.
are sometimes you're a little bit behind where what your children have moved on to in terms of friends-wise
Right.
or social. So you like,
Especially if they don't tell you. So
Yeah, like, oh, that, your buddies, right? I always knew that. Oh, you're not talking? No? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oops.
and I mean, poor Fred doesn't even know about Veronica yet.
Yeah.
He's probably like, oh crap.
Right.
And this is my love from when I was growing up. That's her mother.
Yep.
And it's, you know, it's very similar to Gossip Girl, again, for me, because it's Lily and
Dan's dad. Don't ask me to remember.
Rufus.
Thank you.
Rufus. And they do a similar thing in that.
Right.
So I love this stuff, and I love that it's unique in its own way. But I love that they're following its steps.
My favorite scene in the episode was definitely Fred and Archie talking, and Archie's trying to explain to him what's going on, but he's trying to be vague.
Yeah.
That was a great scene. I really think Luke Perry's killing it so far.
Man,
I
could
do.
you not
I
like,
so
yes.
agree.
Yeah.
I just
I'm
want
like,
to see
I'm so
more.
happy to see him back in a TV show and just doing what I know he can do, rock a TV show at any character.
Yeah.
I
like,
want Dylan.
We all want Dylan.
One thing we always talk about, I do this show on the Popcorn Talk Network called Action Movie Anatomy, and we cover action movies and a lot of action movie stars. And one thing we always talk about is that as we go through the ages, you'll see stars as they age, they take on a different character. Like, they'll take on like different characteristics. You know, you're different once you're in your 20s and 30s to once you become that like 40, 45 leading man. The same as like Denzel's now getting to that point where he's like getting to that older age. He can play the grizzled, like, you know, like the mentor character. And with Luke Perry, it's nice to see, like, he really does well with a beard being a father character. He's a heartthrob in a totally different kind of way.
In like a hot dad way.
And there's just, but there's also, it's like the wrinkles even, there's just character oozing out of him. I just really like watching him. He's doing it for me on this show.
I do want more. I
Yeah.
want more.
No, every time I see him on the screen, I was like, let's just move some of the other characters aside.
Yeah.
Let's just have him in more.
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
He gives, like, what I love about Luke as Archie's dad, like, you can, like, he just, like, takes a moment, like takes a second before he even says anything. You get pulled into that scene because you're just, like, you're waiting to see what he's gonna say, what wisdom might just come out of his mouth.
Right.
Like, you can tell he takes a second or a breath,
Yeah.
and then just goes, and you're just like, you lean closer because you want to know more.
Those characters are important. I mean, that's Sandy from the OC. That's Peter Gallagher's eyebrows. You need that character. That character's really important. It's a great like TV character. So as we continue moving down the line, let's get to a little bit of Betty and Veronica stuff. We had like a whole like triangle of fallout that started the episode out. Betty's just like, I'm gonna be okay. Archie, when she says the line to Archie where she's like, even though you don't like me like that, I still want us to be friends. I was just like, you guys are so in high school right now. Because you are so in love with him, and it's been like a day, and you are heartbroken, and you're not going to be friends unless you're always going to be in love with him. Like, it's just not going to, you're not just going to be friends. You're just going to be suppressing how you feel, because it doesn't go away overnight.
I thought the same thing, but I also thought if I was Betty and I was that age, I would have been like, screw you, Archie, suck a dick. Sorry.
Come on, Sam.
It's CW. It's okay.
You need to let it go, okay?
I know.
For me, I actually kind of do agree with Bay on that. I've never, anybody from high school watching this, it was never you. But if that was me and I was in love with this guy, I would still try to keep that friendship. That like the friendship part is important. They've been friends since they were 4.
Right.
Even when she starts to love him, that friendship's still gonna be there. It can't kind of go away as much as you really like now that your heart's kind of broken.
I know, and it clearly didn't, because then they sit down at the table and Veronica's like, to a very forgiving audience, play us some music, and Archie's like, okay, I'll sing you the song. It's not very good. And everybody's like, oh my God, you're amazing. And Betty's
Can I just
like,
say though,
love
Ben,
you.
I thought about you singing that song. I was like, well, if Ben could have been Archie, he could have sang that song.
I could have. I'm gonna be honest with you. I spent a significant amount of time after last week's episode trying to find if anybody had like released one of Archie's songs from last week that I could go learn.
SoundCloud? Did you try SoundCloud?
We need to do it. You need to do it.
I'm gonna try again when I get home tonight. Like I want to try to learn some of the Archie songs. Like,
They're awesome.
That'll be amazing.
The Betty and Archie and Veronica triangle was something I was always wondering about how it was going to translate from the comic to TV show, because it's you can play it off in the comic book and just that illusion of change and that eternal dynamic can just go for more of a comic book child like audience, but on a TV show you can't do that for that long without the audience getting really frustrated. So I'm glad the way they've kind of, at least for right now, kind of resolved it.
right.
And especially, and I would love if Betty and Veronica, if they actually did stick to that vow, where they made that vow, like, hey, we're never let a guy come to us. If they just get to continue their relationship and not have to worry about guy problems, and just see what other kind of stuff in life comes to kind of make them butt heads, I would love that.
Well, so here's the real question, because one thing that I mentioned last week and we all agreed on was that we really liked that in the pilot they set it up, they went for it. Betty told him how she felt, and that was like they started the show with that, because it is my theory, and I shared it last week, that Betty and Archie will end up together in the end of
I
the show.
so ship them.
Yeah, I mean I feel like it's impossible to imagine that not happening, at least just in my opinion. But it's not going to happen for a long time, and if this show is on the air for 6 or 10 or 8 years or something, it's going to be a lot of going through it. So if they're not going to let a guy come between them, that guy being Archie, obviously, who is Archie going to be romantically involved with in the early parts of this season?
Veronica.
But like
Miss Grundy.
so I guess it's Miss Grundy, but like Betty's not going to be okay for a while if it's Veronica, and if it's Betty, like it's not going to be Betty. So
Can
I feel
I say
like
something really terrible?
what?
I kind of want Miss Grundy to die.
Oh.
The secret dies with Miss Grundy?
I don't want her to die as much as I just want her to maybe get hurt.
Who's going to tutor Archie though?
I think he'll figure it
Josie?
out. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, maybe Josie and Archie. Oh
Yes!
my God.
Oh, that would be awesome, actually. Yes, interracial. Okay, sorry.
Oh my goodness. I hope that happens.
But I like the female characters so much more than I do Archie. For us, I'm not sure whose character we're following at this point. Do you know what I mean?
I get you.
And Archie, I think we're supposed to be following him, but I am not in love with him.
Well, I think it's tougher because it's a murder mystery on top of everything else. So while you're getting to know these characters, you're also trying to figure out this mystery. So I feel it's tough to figure out which character is like, oh, are we supposed to be following this one or this one or this one or this one?
I think that's also the point. They don't want us to figure out until like it's like right on top of us.
Unless we can choose. I mean, I choose Veronica.
I choose Betty.
I've always chosen Veronica.
There's
Because
a lot
I want to see Betty snap. Like, no offense, like that first episode when like her hand like actually made the imprints on her hand. I was like, I really just want her to let loose on all that anger she's keeping, because that anger is just gonna like
it's boiling over. Like
it's like it is, seriously.
with lines like, Cheryl, get the hell out of my house before I kill you. You're like, oh my God.
I was like, You better speak up. Go ahead.
Yeah, like season 2, it's like Betty is in jail and people are going to visit Betty because she's murdered Cheryl Blossom, and that's like a whole different show.
No, I think it's interesting that like Betty's trying to like she wants to see her sister. In my mind, like if you know where your sister is, no matter what your parents think, why can't you just go?
Right.
Unless she doesn't know exactly where
She might not know. It's a group home or something. Yeah.
I would try to find that, like, because eventually me getting told no it's not gonna cut it.
Well, given the way Alice Cooper, she is not doesn't seem like willing to share a lot of information. He seems like she wants to keep Betty just pegged in this little small.
She's definitely up to something. I mean, she's at the morgue paying small bills to inspect Jason Blossom's body. So she's definitely up to something, and like including Betty in all information is not part of it.
But what were her parents doing when they're like, "Oh, we gotta go"? Both of her parents.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of late nights. They were saying.
Like, what do they do?
What does he do? I get that she's creepy and weird. Whatever. She's a mother.
He counsels Steve and Doug Butabi about going to the Roxbury. All right, so Betty and Veronica. Let's keep with that for a minute longer. So like, there's this whole conversation about before they make up, right? And Veronica has a line where she says, "I feel like there was this train headed towards the rest of my life, and I missed it." I like that line.
I love that
I like
line.
the scene, but that scene, it's all about like Betty opens herself up, and then Archie goes on this long thing about the story about him and Betty.
Yeah.
And then Veronica's really nice. Like, I don't think the story's over between you and
I
Betty.
loved
Like,
that.
I love that.
but I feel like Archie's like, yeah, like why not reciprocate? Like, hey, I think why don't you reach out to Betty? She's really nice. It's okay. You guys can fix this.
because
too.
I think
No.
she also knows, like, so it's like you can't lead a horse to water and you can't make it drink type thing. Like, she could say all the great things she wanted about Betty because he obviously knows, but it's something he has to figure out himself. And plus he's still tied up into the whole Miss Grundy web. He can't see out of it.
Oh no, not getting back, but at least Archie doesn't tell Veronica that it's going to be okay because she seems like she wants a relationship with Betty as well. And Archie at no time says, "Hey, yeah, it'll work out with you and Betty too."
Well, yeah,
He's
like-
just all
Okay.
selfish to himself. Like, thanks, thanks, Veronica.
It is kind of funny that like it's not called Archie, it's called Riverdale. So
Yeah.
and the comics were always called Archie, and they were always about Archie. This show, it's like it's like suggested that it's about Archie Andrews because like he's the protagonist from the comics. But maybe he's just kind of a selfish prick, actually. And we're supposed to.
Okay.
I mean, like, that's what you're saying, Sam, is you feel like he's really selfish.
I was like, I agree.
I agree with that. Just he needs to get out of his bubble just a little bit because he's so into his own stuff he can't see out of it,
Yeah,
and that
he's-
is selfish.
He's young, too. He's, like, just being very, young, a young
He's
boy.
like, what's this? What's this? Blonde, brunette?
Like, I'm not
What
good
am I
for you.
doing?
Like,
What's
you're
this-
so perfect.
what's
Like,
this
I
at?
wanted to
What's this
slap
at?
him when he said that. Seriously, I wanted to slap him when he said that to Betty. Like, you're so perfect. Like, her whole point is she's tired of being seen as perfect. She's not.
She's the literal girl next door. I love Betty.
Literally.
And I love Veronica. Well, that's tough. It's tough, Archie.
All right, Archie.
I get you, man.
Okay.
I get you, man. All right. The boy I like doesn't like me back. It's just some of the shows are so high school. I love it.
I
am I
miss high
supposed
school
to
as long as
do?
I'm not experiencing it. Like, you miss high school when you don't have to
Yeah.
experience it yourself.
I went to an all-girls high school, so these shows give me life.
Wow.
Give me the high school experience that I didn't get.
Oh, I could not do an all-girl school. I would end up fighting somebody.
I grew up in Seattle, Washington, and I went to alternative schools, like weird ones with like 200-300 kids, couches instead of chairs. Like I graduated at 16,
I wish I
took
went to
college
your
classes
school.
when I was 17. Like that's not because I was super smart, just because like there was like a system in Seattle where you could just do that. You could kind of get a diploma by doing weird stuff. And Friday Night Lights is like one of my favorite shows of all time. It's like one of my 3 or 5 favorite shows ever.
Me too.
And
I just started watching.
FNL. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's so good. And watching that and thinking about and watching this and thinking about it, it's like there's just something so romantic about like small town high school shows. You just makes you wish like you had the local restaurant. There's like the local diner. It's just the one though, and there's like only the one high school, and like Friday nights is about football. Like it's just
That's my high school. Like,
love
no,
it.
we came from a small town football. Every side of the stadium is filled with people. Everybody comes out. Like they're like, even like if you can't come in, you don't want to pay. They stand
Yeah.
at the gate just to watch.
right.
Like football in my town is God, and it's amazing. And
What town?
it's called East St. Louis, Illinois. It's like this small town in Illinois.
Okay.
That's right before you get to Missouri. And like you had the Rice House. If you wanted to go actually like to eat and somewhere, so you have to go like 2 towns over to Denny's, and that's what we did
Okay.
after every dance.
I love it.
Like it was one school for like 4 different middle schools and get
Yeah.
put in one freshman class. That's like 500 people.
I guess it's probably more of like much more relatable to a lot of the world than it seems like. To me, that seems like a story in a show that I love. And to the people who grew up in it, a lot of them are like, it was awful. It was a small town. I'm so excited to get out of that small town.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I was, but like there's certain things I miss. Like I miss those nights where we just drove in circles in a parade in our cars just because we wanted to have fun, yelling out the roof.
Yeah,
and
right.
like laser tag nights. Like I kind of miss that.
Yeah.
Because I don't get that anywhere else. Kind of from where I grew up out here. So that was like a nice, amazing experience.
We have a fun comment. Horned Hunter 2000. I'm loving this so much. I'm afraid to get too attached, and I have the CW to do something stupid like cancel it before it hurts. I mean, I don't want them to cancel it, but it is easy to get attached. I think that we all are already attached.
They're not going to cancel this show.
I don't really
No,
think so
they're
either.
not going to. But and also someone else in comments mentioned One Tree Hill, which is one of my favorites as well. So.
Yeah. So that's I think that's pretty much what went down in the episode. Unless I'm forgetting anything super, super important, do you guys want to do predictions? What do you got?
Hashtag Riverdale Strong.
Hashtag Riverdale Strong. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's get into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Now, guys, we're going to share a couple thoughts. If you want to follow along the conversation one more time to find each one of us, you can find me at Ben Bateman Media. I will be doing that interview tomorrow morning, so tweet at me if you have any questions. Where can the folks find you guys if they want to comment on your predictions and such?
Oh, you can follow me at Happy Go Jackie. Oh.
You can find me at Real Chae Jones.
And you can find me at SamD43.
All right, we're going to start with you, SamD43. What are your big thoughts? What's going on? What's going forward?
All right, I think that Veronica and Archie are going to fight their attraction because they both love Betty so much, but it will continue to grow. And I think that the parents are going to continue to be a bigger and bigger part of the show, and that there's some weird, like, I don't want to say secret society, but the parents are super creepy, and they know what happened to Jason, and they had something to be part of it, I think.
My prediction is Polly is going to make an appearance and it's going to shake up Riverdale in a big way. And I so want Moose and Kevin. I ship them, so yes.
Moose and Kevin, I love
Moose
it.
and Kevin.
What's the ship on that? Is that Mevin? Goose?
I like Mevin.
Is it Goose?
Goose?
Oh,
Goose?
Goose? Oh, that's not as
Goose.
good as Goose. I don't know why I thought Goose.
I like Mevin.
Mevin? Moving?
Mevin.
That moving was all right.
Well, and I will say,
go.
someone
Moving,
said
yeah.
daily life. Well, do the hosts think we know Jason's killer? That's a good question. Do you think we've seen Jason's killer of the people we've met thus far?
If Betty's mom did not do it, she definitely knows something.
Yeah, she definitely knows something. She knows, yeah. For sure.
No, I feel like I think we've seen the killer so far.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
There has to, yep.
Because it'd be stuck there, like, by episode 9, they've introduced, like, all of a sudden this new person just pops on the canvas, like, oh, wait a second.
That's the
All right.
worst. Yeah.
I feel like you don't have Luke Perry on the show to just give him a couple scenes where he's like just hanging out with Archie, maybe talking to Veronica's mom. So I feel like there's going to be a deeper backstory with the parents.
Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't really mention that Hermione Lodge is working at Pop Tate's, but I think
Right.
that it's pretty safe to assume
There's
that,
going to be a lot of interaction.
yeah, we're going to get more of her because she's in a prominent location that they all go to. So
Yes.
I think
Sex.
you'll see, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, speaking of
parent
sex. Speaking of sex, how did the scene end with Archie at Miss Grundy's house in the middle of the night? He's like, okay, let's just cut away from this. I'm standing here in your house with my shirt off, and it's the middle of the night.
And I'm sweaty.
Yeah, I was like, are we to assume that just like nothing happened? They didn't even address it.
No.
I mean, he ran back. He was a good boy. He ran all the way back.
Okay. No.
We're going to listen to just assume he ran back.
Any other predictions on this side? What do we got?
Hermione
sorry,
and
just
Fred would
one-
get together.
Sorry, Sky Patterson said there is a secret society in Riverdale. Like I said.
Like the Skulls
I don't
with
know.
Joshua Jackson and Paul Walker.
That's one of
Oh
my
my
favorite
gosh.
movies ever.
Michelle Ward.
What'd you say? They need to give Kevin some better dialogue because he's the worst, most cliche character. No,
we like-
no,
I
I'm
don't
with that.
no.
We like talked. Oh God.
We're gonna get a lot more of him. Okay, on to this side, Ben.
I think my prediction is what I mentioned earlier, and your suggestion I think is dead on, which is that I think that the book drops or the blog is published or whatever it is at the end of the season. I think that's the big cliffhanger that leads us into season 2. I don't think they'll have Jughead writing this for 2 seasons, and I don't think that they're going to just have him be the narrator. So I feel like that turns into something relevant for the second season of the show. That seems like it would make a lot of sense. It's also very open-ended from a writer's point of view. They can chronicle how much they want him to be covering, like what parts of it he's writing about. For instance, he could be aware of some of the things that's going on, but there could be stuff that happens that he's not aware of, that he's not writing about. So they can control how much is in that.
It would be cool if they wanted to do that as a structure where this season it is the writing of the book or the blog, whatever it is, but then next season it's somebody else, like something Betty's writing or doing that. She becomes the narrator for that season, or Veronica or Archie in subsequent seasons. So you kind of rotate the narrators of each season. It could be kind of interesting.
That'd be awesome.
It's a great idea.
The other thing I hate to say is that, so I will just reaffirm my prediction. Betty and Archie will end up together eventually, a long time from now. The thing, though, that I'm thinking is like...
Episode 9, 10, is that what you're saying?
Well, the thing I'm thinking is like the first episode set up the fact that Archie is physically attracted to Veronica, but like that doesn't feel like it's the thing that long term will be like the mature relationship. But he is emotionally super attracted to Betty because he loves Betty and Betty loves him. So like the basic suggestion would be, of course, they would end up together at the end and Veronica would move on. But I kind of feel like the way that I expect this show to go is that it'll be a few years, they'll graduate high school, they'll go to college, and like the eventual narrative will be that Archie shouldn't end up with either of them because they should have outgrown each other at that point. But that's not what's going to happen. He will end up with Betty.
But I think it would need, I think with Archie and Betty, if that were to happen, it's like they both need time away to go have other experiences in life, not with each other, and then realize it's about like, this is what we want.
And it'll be beautiful and wonderful and
That's
satisfying.
right.
Well, and one more thing before we end. Renge9098 says he thinks the season will end with Sabrina the Teenage Witch arriving, and there's been a lot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch comments and everything because she's a whole part of this story.
True.
So I'm very excited. Sabrina is Teenage Witch, one of my favorite characters.
And
ever.
Melissa Joan Hart will play her mom.
Oh,
That'll be awesome.
And I like kind of just hope that they're like, we're just gonna blend the Archie and CW worlds, and then actually this is just the same universe, and Supergirl, like Melissa's just gonna fly in. But you know, that's a story for another time. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening, and share your thoughts with us. Let us know what you thought. We will see you same time, same place next week. This is the best show in the world. Thank you for sitting next to me, Frank.
The pleasure's all mine.
thank you guys.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Bye, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Afterbuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the Afterbuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of Afterbuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.